Psalm 133. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
I don't know how you guys go with that whole part.
I can tell you without a doubt it won't pass a Republican House, and it's all about money, and it's all about taxes, and it's all about these greedy hedge fund managers that want Puerto Rico to pay their fair share, and I don't think that's right. And I didn't want to cut in, so
no, do your thing. That's what we're here for. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut in, but words do matter. I've always thought words mattered, and the president's words definitely matter. So when you make comments, whether they're true or false, and some of the stuff I really don't believe. I do my own research. I want to hear it for myself. But if somebody makes a comment or spreads a rumor about you making comments about Puerto Rico like that, I think you should come out and you should address that matter. And given the fact that he didn't address it, I'm confident in saying he probably did say it. Because
I'm confident he probably did say it too. Believe me, yeah, I guarantee you, because when I was in the convention center for Hurricane Maria down there. I just retired and I was with FEMA, and we were part of the initial push for Hurricane Irma and Maria. And I'll tell you that. And I was there when Ron Paul told the governor of Puerto Rico, let's incorporate Puerto Rico right now. Let's incorporate Puerto Rico is your initial step to becoming a statehood. And the governor, what he says, no, right? Because that governor, we even protested in the street. He even came up. He's a Democratic guy. That's right? Yeah, the bad thing about Puerto Rico. I remember this guy. Yeah, about the Puerto Rico political parties, they're divided because one party, you got Democrats and Republicans in one party. You know what I mean? And that was the issue we're having.
I'm right back, gentlemen.
We're having that issue right now when it comes to whoever's on the governor right now. She's a Republican, but she got beat with the same party by a Democrat. But we support that Democrat person who's going into the governorcy because he's going into statehood. And like you were saying, yeah, and I do believe that he probably meant it. But one thing is menting, one thing is doing it. And we in Puerto Rico, we've been used to being told everything. I mean, we've been so whatever, we're good with that part. At the end of the day, our focus, our target is statehoodship, and that's what we're looking at the end point for us in our
I agree.
House.
I agree. And again, I didn't say it, but and I truly do believe this, as I've seen it from both sides. For a long time, been an officer, I voted Republican. And I realized once I got out why I voted Republican, because we're in this bubble and we're told to believe this. And for example, I know for a fact, if we had a Republican senator come in to visit the base, we rolled out the red carpet for this guy. If it was a Democrat, for some reason, he fell short on the pecking order. It wasn't that big of a deal. And, we were fed this belief that Republicans love the military, they take care of the military, they always fund the military. But when I was platoon leader, I don't know if you guys know this or not, 40 soldiers in a platoon, I was given 39 pieces of body armor. The richest country in the world couldn't give us enough body armor for every man and woman on the front line. And one of the things that helped change my way of thinking was when I finally got back and I started researching some of the bills that were put forth in Congress, and I saw that it was the Republicans that voted down the bill to give the military extra funding for body armor. And, that's near and dear to my heart. When I'm given, I got 40 soldiers and you give me 39 pieces of body armor, and you tell me to decide who lives and dies and who gets that body armor and who doesn't. That's
very chilling revelation, because when I was in Iraq, we actually didn't have up-armored Hummers till after we got in for some time, and it was kind of weird, right? Because we had the 203 long barrels, and we were supposed to be clearing rooms with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Air Force, who was on base that wasn't going out the wire, that had the small barrel M4s with all of the gadgets and gear on it. And we were like wondering, like, how, like, that's weird. We're out the wire, and we actually are using this retro stuff, and we're the infantry guys. We're the ones that's supposed to be kicking in the door. So that's some telling information right there. We actually was patrolling a city, a small town outside of Al-Assad Air Base. It was a miniature Baghdadi, and we had the soft top Hummer, and the guys just standing on the back of the vehicle, completely exposed, no turret, you know, and we're patrolling this city, you know. And I mean, that was back in, you know, the early 05, you know, 06, so it was still fresh, and things I guess didn't catch up at that time, but maybe that's what it was. But it was unbelievable, the equipment that we were handed to do the mission. You know, so that's some interesting information right there.
Another example was, because I didn't mention it, but I also worked at the VA. I did a contract work. I left a job where I made 6 figures to go work for the VA, making $40,000 a year, because I wanted to serve again. And that was under Obama. And I got to see how you were treated from being active duty to how you were treated as a veteran. And again, if you're willing to send us to combat, I think you should be willing to take care of us when we come back. And for a fact, I know that and again, I don't like to overgeneralize and put everybody in one group, but it was the Republican House. And if you go back and look in history, how many bills have been voted down that would have benefited veterans? And Obama did. And so the group that they actually hired on, we came on as part of this big Obama push to revitalize the economy. And so a lot of the guys that were hired were actually veterans. And these veterans came and took a pay cut and would work overtime for free just to clear the backlog of files that the VA had. And it was just amazing for me to see who got these government contracts, how much money the government paid for these VA hospitals or contracts that they awarded for them to do the physicals when the VA was overcrowded, to see how much money was going, but then to see how many times the bills that would give veterans more money got voted down. And on top of that, I also saw firsthand how the Republican Party wanted to privatize the VA, and not to make the VA better, but to make a profit. And that's what it was all about. And it's always been not about making it better. It's about making money for their rich friends. And I'll give you another example. So I can't remember his name, but you know, so let's say the VA has a backlog of physicals. They can't get all the physicals done, so they contract out. There was only one company that had sole contracts for do the VA physicals, and they charged 3 times more than the government did. And the person that had that contract, the CEO, was the former secretary of the VA, a Republican. And he didn't do anything to make it better. It was all about making money. And it's not to disparage the Republican Party, but you can see the difference if you look up the bills that will benefit veterans and benefit soldiers, who voted those bills down. And I would say 8 times out of 10, it was the Republican Party. And again, you know, they had the Tea Party coming in, and they were trying to be, the taxed enough party. But at the same time,
Daily, for a second, if I may.